In 1981, Century released Vanguard into arcades in North America. Now, it was notable for the inclusion of horizontal, vertical, and diagonally scrolling backgrounds, and the ability to fire lasers from your ship in 4 directions using 4 separate fire buttons on the control panel. How would all of this translate to the Atari 2600 just 1 year later? We'll try it and see next.
This video brought to you in part by Tommy and the Order of Cosmic Champions. This exciting and heartwarming coming-of-age Gen X novel is available now. Check the link for more info.
Hey there, welcome back to GenXGrownUp. I'm John, and I am a GenXGrownUp. Thank you for taking the time to click on this video. In the mid-'80s, translating arcade games to home consoles was all the rage. Even though the systems like the 2600 and Intellivision didn't have anywhere near the capabilities of their stand-up cousins, just bringing a version of the game home was an attractive proposition. So, when Atari asked Dave Payne to convert Vanguard with all its multi-scrolling and directional firing to the 2600, well, it was no small assignment. But surprisingly, his port of Vanguard is among some of the most arcade accurate for the system. Let's give it a spin.
Ah yes, my old friend Vanguard. So you power it up and it goes into a demo mode, kind of an attract mode. And it'll give you a tour of the different levels of the game. Like it starts here in the mountain zone, a couple players die, it'll go on to the next zone. Your goal in Vanguard is to go through all the different regions and reach the mystery city at the end and destroy the Gond, G-O-N-D, Gond, who is this evil entity, this monster at the end, who is... he's been wreaking havoc. You know, it's a space shooter. There's a bad guy you have to get to the end and blow up. And if you do, then then it becomes faster and harder and more challenging. You know the deal. So let's start with buttons. So game select just lets you pick between 1-player and 2-player game, which is all you see, the 1-2 changing there. On this screen, it'll always show your map, and then it will show the current player. And then at the bottom, it shows your game select how many players in this game, 1 or 2. And the map kind of shows you an idea of how you're going to work your way through the map to get these tunnels to get to the Gond at the end. Then difficulty switches, that's where they addressed how you handle the fact that the original Vanguard could shoot in 4 directions. And you can see the ship here in the demo mode is shooting in 4 directions, but you just have one button. You just have one joystick. How are you shooting in all those directions? So the difficulty switches allow you to pick the version of shooting in different directions that best suits you. The one that I do is just the standard, novice difficulty. It's not harder or more difficult, it's just whichever one makes more sense. There's a combination of like B and B behaves a certain way where it's always firing and you can shoot in other directions with the joystick, or you can hold down the button to not fire. I'll put up a little excerpt here from the manual and you can see kind of the general ways that you can handle shooting, but I'm going to do it on novice. And throughout the game, you travel these different zones, and we'll talk about them. But let me start a game right quick, just to show you. Not a lot of sound, except when you actually shoot something. So you can hear that. So if I don't hit anything, he's always shooting forward. That's automatic. And then when you move up, down, left, right, he shoots in that direction also. Now that's true of the BB version of shooting. And if I hold down the button, you can move faster without shooting anybody. So you can see I hold down the button, I can navigate a little better, but you're in danger of getting hit by someone. Additionally, you should see I'm losing ships as I show you. You start with 5 ships, and you can gain an extra ship at 10,000 and 50,000. Now, through the course of the game, kind of like Scramble or River Raid, you need to gather energy. So there's a bar at the bottom of the screen there. It's got the orange bar that's getting shorter. It's, I think it's like 40 seconds long, and every second is a little notch. But every time you shoot a bad guy, it gains 1 second. So basically you need to be shooting bad guys at a rate of about 1 per second, or you're going to crash and run out of fuel, run out of energy. Now, throughout the game, you have a variety of different enemies. In a minute, we're going to try to do a full playthrough of the game, at least through one level, just to see all the different areas. But that's where the variety of Vanguard came from, the different scrolling, the different enemies. They packed there. See, I moved on to the next area, so I have a vertical scrolling area. They couldn't do the horizontal, which I can forgive the 2600 for, but they were able to handle vertical and horizontal scrolling throughout the course of development of this game. And it's using a pretty good variety. Oh, boom. Also worth noting is how the scoring works in Vanguard, and it's pretty straightforward. It's just different amount for different enemies. I'll put up this excerpt from the manual you can take a look at, and you can see, and I think even when you get to the second tunnel, I think I read there's a multiplier. I won't swear to that, but yeah. The other cool thing is that when you die, at least on the first level, you get a chance to continue. This is often lauded as the first or one of the first home arcade games that gave you a continue option. I feel like there might have been earlier ones, but I can't for the life of me remember. Anyway, as an arcade game at least, it was one of the first ones that allowed you to continue your game and put in more quarters, but it did give you all your lives back. You stayed where you were, but it resets the score. Now we're in the stick zone. In the arcade game, this was called the Styx, S-T-Y-X zone, like the River of the Dead. But they changed it to stick, maybe because, I don't know, they thought Styx was too morbid to be in this game for the home console. But it's called the stick zone because of all these stalactites and stalagmites that are sticking up and down, the appearance of sticks coming up out of the ground. And on the topic of energy, you have these little energy pods. See, I'm just passing one there, that little E. This is probably the thing, if you never played Vanguard, you will at least recognize the Flight of the Valkyrie sounds from Flash Gordon when you get this. And for a little while, you're invincible, you can smash into anybody you want to, but you can't shoot. But you move around quickly, and then it runs out after about 10 or 15 seconds, I think. And those appear not in every level, but in many levels. You get them here in the mountain zone. You get them later in the, I think it's called the rainbow zone. Later on, you have an option, but if you can grab it, then you can smash bad guys willy-nilly. Their bullets can't hurt you, and you can ram into them. And then at morning, pew, 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 and you're back to... It does seem to fill up your energy, though, which is quite nice. So if you're running low on energy, not only does it give you invincibility, it gives you energy. And your goal, of course, throughout the game, just get the high score. Get as far as you can. All right. So I'm going to do a full tour of the game. In the course of doing it, we'll call out all the different enemies and all the different zones. I'll try to make it all the way through at least one of the tunnels. Before I do, of course, the holiday season is coming up. Look, Halloween is here. You're going to start purchasing stuff for friends and family for the holidays. Please remember our store over at GenXGrownUp.com/merch, where we have original creations by independent designers that you can get on t-shirts and hats and mugs and stickers and make great gifts. And every item you purchase not only gets you something cool, but goes to support independent content creation just like we do here on GenXGrownUp. Okay, with that, I'm going to restart this game. Let's put it on a one-player game. We'll see what we can do as best as we can, so wish me luck on a run-through of Vanguard. All right, so these first ones, these are called mists for some reason. The little Yars-looking ships, they're called mist ships. I don't know why you get that name. But their deal is, of course, that they kind of do that little zigzag thing, which is kind of a pain. Now, it would be easy to just sort of stay safe, stay low, don't get hit. But if you do that, you're going to run out of that energy at the bottom of the screen. So you can't just do that. There's a lingering guy up here. Let's zap him. Oh, he got away. All right, so now we move on to the next enemy type. These defender-looking ships are called Harley rockets, okay? They look like defender ships to me. They're just very narrow and hard to shoot because they're so skinny. Otherwise, they're not that challenging. They don't do a little zigzag thing like the mist ships do. They're generally pretty easy to deal with. And this region is called the mountain region, for obvious reasons, I think. It looks kind of mountainous here. Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in just trying to stay alive and not shoot enough ships, especially here in the mountain region. So I'm always afraid that I'm going to run out of energy. So you got to get aggressive, and sometimes that leads to danger, you know? I feel like I'm just about at the end of the mountain region, at which point we'll turn and be traveling south down that tunnel. It's really kind of, there's this, there we go. There's this give and take of when you can stop shooting to move a little bit faster, and when you need to shoot in order to keep your energy up, right? So there's a couple of these balloons left. These balloons, by the way, I should have told you, these are called helm balloons, look like little balls. Apparently you pop them with your laser. And this region is called the bleak zone, I think. I think that's right. Or maybe it's the rainbow zone. I can't keep them straight. Maybe this is the bleak zone. But maybe we'll turn here. Yep, so we're gonna turn now. Yep, and this should be, yep, this is the Styx region. No energy in this area. Maybe there is, I think there's not. I think there's no place to set them, so You have to get all your energy by shooting bad guys, and you don't get that cool music at any point in this region. And we're fighting the Harley ships again, little Defender-looking guys. There's quite a variety of enemies and regions to look at, which kind of keeps the game fresh, I think. You know, so instead of the exact same thing over and over, even though it is just a space shooter, or tunnel shooter, I guess, there's plenty to look at and plenty of variety in the game, which I appreciate. Have you got to 10,000 yet? I'll get an extra ship at 10,000. I've lost a couple, but I would like to... I'd like to have an extra one in reserve if I'm going to make it to the end and defeat the Gond. Whoa! Sometimes I just go too long without shooting anything, so my energy's down around half now, which is bad news. Oh, back to still in the stick zone, but we're back to the mists now, those Yars-looking enemies. And they can be tricky. The way they stop and zigzag unexpectedly often causes me heartache. Get in my way. And they're hard to shoot. I'm almost out of energy. I gotta shoot guys fast because I'm running out of energy badly. Elf needs food badly. Oh, and I died. Well, at least like my energy refilled. I'm almost at 10,000. There's too much left in this game. I gotta make it to the end. Come on, hang in there. Almost to an extra life at least. Come on, more bad guys. Shoot him, shoot him. All right, he ran out. All right, so now we're going vertical. So let's see what we have now. All right, so more of these balloon things. More of these helm balloons. Oh, I just got my extra man. 10,000 points. Hooray. That's good timing. Now, in a moment, we're going to get to what I think is the most interesting and varied part of the game. There's this rainbow zone, or stripe zone it's called. I think it's the stripe zone. I can't keep them straight. Maybe this is the rainbow zone. It doesn't matter what they're called, honestly. This last guy. Now we should move on. All right. Yeah, so here's that stripe zone. And we do have energy things on the wall again, so we can pick those up. They're naturally occurring, I guess. And even this deep in the game, there's still new enemies to see. You got the things stuck on the wall here. You got this guy shooting. And you have those sliding blocks that can't be destroyed. The bigger problem here, though, is that there's not enough enemies to waste. You got to kill as many as you can. Because if you run out, you'll run out of fuel, you know? And you can see my fuel's going down. There's just not that many bad guys to get. Let's try this side for a change. Go back and forth, guys. Get past this. Yep. Whew. Let's go back to the other side. That was a little easier. Yep. Get to him. So we got a guy shooting on the wall. Come on. Yeah. Whew. So we still have one more zone we've never seen before, plus the Gond at the end. So for a 2600 game of the time, it's a lot of variety, I think. Now, what this doesn't have that the arcade game had was in-game music, you know? Constant music that would play. Oh, now we've got... All right, so we're back to another rainbow zone before we get to the bleak zone and the remaining enemies we haven't seen yet. Okay, so this is the bleak zone, and this is a new enemy called the Kimlus or Kimlus, K-E-M-L-U-S, and you can ride these little snake things 3 times. After 3 times, they'll kill you. So I usually do 1 or 2 of them, and then not do the third one because the third one is after the third one they'll kill you. But there's lots of points to be had. So, you know, keep shooting them. They're not too fast. They're easy to shoot. I have 1 more free ride on the Kimlu. Okay, new enemy. These are called Ramitas, these bomb things. Again, pretty slow, easy to tackle. Just keep shooting left and right to get them. Eventually, we finish this, we're going to get to the Gond. That's the bad guy at the end. And the trick with him is you want to be careful not to shoot too much. I'm going to pause here. You want to be careful not to be shooting when you first get to him, because the later you wait to shoot him, the more points he's worth. So I'm going to not be shooting, so hold down my button for a little bit and dodge his bullets and then try to defeat him as late as possible before my timer runs out. So here we go. Okay, so there he is. So I'm not shooting right now. I'm just dodging these bullets. Be careful not to get shot. Stay pretty far away from him. And that wall coming up, you see I gotta watch out for that. Let's get him. Okay, we zapped him. And then you go on to the second tunnel, and things are moving quite a bit faster. As you can see, I couldn't get down to that energy. Now, I think you can't even continue when you lose here. Oh, we'll find out if I keep dying. I was trying to get to that energy. I think once you get to the second level, the second tunnel, you can't continue. Oh, I can't even get down to those energy tanks. Another extra man at 50 grand? I don't expect to get there. I don't think it's going to happen. I never get very far in the second tunnel. That's true of the arcade game and here on the Atari. Oh, mix them up. Now we're going straight to the bleak zone, which is moving really quickly, as you can see. Already got to another one. Oh, just got to get through this. Oh, ran into him. Last life, 44 grand. Yeah, this is nearly over. Able to shoot him around the corner. Run past him. Whoa, I ran into the wall. Oh well. Yeah, 47 grand. I'm not ashamed of that. That's not too bad for a run at Vanguard. So you can see the variety that's in there, all the different scrolling, the multi-directional shooting. Pretty good job considering 1982 on the 2600 at a time when converting arcade games was kind of hit or miss, as we know. Vanguard was one of the better ones.
Vanguard's advertising touted 6 games in 1, referring to all the different regions of the tunnel you battle through. Now, that seems like a bit of a stretch to me, but even though it's not quite 6 different games, the differing environments and enemies at least provides plenty of variety in the spaceship shooting arena. Now, I remember it very well from my youth. I have a very specific memory of my mom buying it for me from an electronics boutique in our local mall, and I was reading the instruction manual in the car all the way home, eager to plug it in and defeat the Gond. So that memory, along with the quality of Vanguard, is what brings me back to it all these years later. Look, I cover a different game every week in my Friday Plays series, so if I haven't yet featured your favorite, let me know down in the comments below. Meanwhile, links here and here to some previous installments. I certainly hope you found something to enjoy in this video, and I can't wait to talk to you again next time. Bye-bye.